All right, so my presentation, I have named it as 0 to 3 seconds. And this is much faster than the TEDx 0 to 18 minutes. In fact, 18 minutes is very less for me to talk, 0 to 16 minutes, whatever, with the kind of things what I have to talk. So let's get started. And in between, I'll explain to you what is the meaning of the 0 to 3 seconds. It actually connects not only photography, but even with respect to life, what we do in life. A lot of those things, the 0 to 3 seconds matters a lot. So we'll talk about it. This is my life. Okay. So obviously, like when people look at this, the whole jealousy, everything comes into picture. But this has taken at least 2 decades to achieve this. Of course, overall, like 18 years of my career, like I was in the corporate world, initially worked in HP and then in Schneider, worked as a director of a software firm. And during that entire period, I was actually doing photography. So what it takes, or what it has taken me to get to this kind of a level. Now, obviously, like the overall from passion to profession, if we have to change over, there are a few things which we have to remember, the various steps, what I call the ladder for success. Basically develop and take things forward. Okay, and then the final success comes into picture. Now, obviously, choosing your genre, you have to decide like based on what you're doing, what you like. So you can decide what you want to do. And then the other very, very important thing, overall art basically, which comes into picture, the thought process. And if you see this slide here, there are at least 18 different things which you have to do when you look through the viewfinder and press the shutter release button. Between looking through the viewfinder and pressing the shutter release button, there are 18 things you have to do. Of course, all this you have to do in that 0 to 3 seconds. In wildlife, you get just 0 to 3 seconds to get your shots, the opportunity, otherwise you have missed it. I have a very good example where like I was not ready for that 0 to 3 seconds, and I'll show you what happened. So then comes basically understanding, and then once you get through your photographic concepts, all those, you have to build your portfolio. Every single of you here probably is a photographer. Even with a cell phone, you can go and keep clicking things. So understand the market requirements, what is it that they need, and then advertising about your business, what you do, and even client communication, overall conveying to your clients, email communications, a lot of those things. In fact, when people look at wildlife photographers or look at me, they feel like, okay, this guy always in the jungle and enjoying things. That is not what life is. This is a major, major headache. Okay, in fact, I have still not filed my returns, personal returns of 2014, 2015 is still pending. My CA is still after me, so bookkeeping and taxes, very important part of your overall business aspects. And then finally, networking. Okay, so networking is very, very important. In fact, yesterday evening, I was in Lucknow, so you folks were very, very like tense whether I'm going to make it to the event, because yesterday night I was in Lucknow, so there was a photography exhibition where even I met the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, so all those various things. So morning, got up and came here. So very tight schedule. So networking is very important as a part of this. Okay. So this is one simple slide which explains perception versus reality. So this is a very standard image. That how exactly to send a powerful message, how I can create a storytelling image. So this is basically creating an image. We were with this leopard for full 12 hours. Okay, so forget about the 0 to 3 seconds. So morning 6:30 we entered, it was there, and till evening 6:30 it was just sleeping, yawned, got up, turned around. Because previous day it had made a kill, it had finished the kill, stomach was full, just sleeping there. So this is basically the concept of making an image. Another example, flat image, I was sitting inside the vehicle, angle was like this, not great. Now this is where the concept of circle of fear comes into picture. A lot of birds, lot of mammals have this concept of circle of fear. Even the same applies to us human beings. So for example, if I ask any of you saying, will you come out for coffee with me, without you even knowing me who I am, whatever I am, I directly approach one of you and say like, will you come out for coffee with me? Chances are I'll get a slap. Okay, other way, fine. I go sit beside her, whatever, like, so I take 3 hours, 4 hours just to talk to her, say hello, everything, tell about myself, what I do, talk, and then probably like after 4, 5 hours, if I ask her saying, will you come out for a coffee with me? Chances are I may get a reply saying, how about a beer? Okay, so that is how life is. That is the concept of circle of fear. The same thing applies to the animals. If you try to suddenly go into that area, which is the circle, chances are it will fly away, it will run away. Other way, it may attack. Okay, so be it elephants or even tigers, you may have seen a lot of, heard a lot of news about tiger kills, like the conflict which happens. That is because you suddenly enter the circle of fear and it reacts. So what we do is we go spend time. So here we were parked beside it, vehicle, it doesn't see it as a threat. Then I changed my angle, went on top, so I thought saying this is not working well, I need to change my angle. And when I changed my angle, this is what I got. So this is where that whole, again, making an image comes in. Take this for example. So we are driving in Kabini, found this, okay, fair enough. But then I was not sure of the angle, so I moved a little forward, got this, still not sure. And then with the right angle, I was able to get the shot. So this is the thought process which keeps running in the mind, saying, how do I better this? I don't like this angle, all those. Another classic example about understanding about your subjects. So this was in Bharatpur, first sunset, first evening, saw this, I was not happy because the sun itself I was not able to see. The colors were missing. And then I knew like this bird, same place next day it is going to come. That is where understanding about your subject comes into picture. One of the 4 pillars of photography. So next evening I went, okay kind of a thing. Still I was not very happy because the colors of the sun was still missing. And I knew tomorrow evening again you have to come there, this time I'm going to get you. And went there, got it. Okay. So this is how the whole understanding about your subject comes into picture. Okay, so one more example if I have to say, understanding about the lighting. So if you're shooting from the front with the sun coming from behind, what we call as the front lighting, this is the kind of image you get where your shadow should be pointing towards your subject. So you get all the details, fine. Then try to understand about side lighting as to how you can use side lighting. Side lighting, you get the 3D kind of an image. Because of the play of light and shadow within the subject, you get this kind of a thing. Again, side lighting for landscape photography with the sun rays coming in. These are the kind of things what you can create. Backlit. So with backlit, the silhouette image is what we create. So you can create some amazingly beautiful images with the rim lighting effect for the subject. Any animal which has fur, you get this kind of a rim lighting effect. So even you can take some selfies with the backlit. Okay, so this was again me standing with my lens, of course not a selfie, friend clicked it. So understanding about light, backlit, all those things, you can create those images. Even in fact, the kind of dusty things what you can create. So again, all this is the backlit. So photography is basically playing around with light, painting with light. And even there is another kind of lighting which is basically completely diffused lighting where you can make vibrant, amazing images. Okay, so this is the whole concept of the making of the images. Now, let me come down to the reality about what is that real 0 to 3 seconds. Okay, so if you look at this, this happened in Tadoba. So the tiger was sitting there. We had no idea what is going to happen. And then it just started to move. Okay, so we didn't even know, like then a lot of alarm calls, all those things started, and then it started to gallop. Okay, this is when we knew, okay, something is going to happen. And in those 3 seconds, we had to get our camera settings, everything ready to get our shots. Okay, and it was running, in fact, still running. So even we still don't know what it is running after, but the tiger has actually marked its prey, what it is going to get. Okay, and then it moves. Now you can see the head of it. Just to the left of the tree below, the spotted deer head is popping out. Unfortunately, the spotted deer is not able to see the tiger because this is on the lower ground there. Okay, and all the spotted deers, everything running around. This tiger has marked its prey. The spotted deer is jumping, it comes. It is still not able to find out where the tiger is. But the tiger, the jumping, it is able to see. It adjusts its angle, everything, breaks actually suddenly, goes forward, and then the next minute we know the spotted deer is up in the air and this guy is down ready to take it. Okay, so it jumped in. In fact, when I zoom in, I've seen this image that fear everything of the spotted deer in the eye, you can see it. It's up in the air looking down, tiger right in front of you. Okay, and then this is that image. And then it catches, gone. And one very important thing, a lesson in life, whoever runs faster than you need not be the winner always. Okay, so this other guy at the back, he was late by 3 seconds. Okay, and that guy, he escaped. That other one in the front who was running in the front, he got caught. So this is that whole thing about 0 to 3 seconds, which is applicable in life everywhere. Another one, this is from last week actually, from Bandhavgarh. Okay, one of the most beautiful tigers I have seen. So this is the Rajvera female from Bandhavgarh. So there, in fact, like we searched, so 5 full days of safari I had done and not even seen a tiger tail actually. So I mean, nothing, I was so frustrated and already spent, I don't know, 4, 3, that only, yeah, close to 1.5 lakhs we had spent, not even a tiger tail. Okay, and we are at one place, we had gotten information that this is there with its cub in the hillocks over there. So we decided, let it be there, let's go look at another tiger which was sitting in the open, quite far from there, half an hour. So we decided, let go, but then at one moment I said, like, hold on, let's go back to that place. Because if it is moving, we don't know, we may at least see the tiger. I have not even seen the tiger, let us try and go back. The moment we turned and we came back, okay, I could see the samba deer running down the hill. And then like when I looked at the backside leg of the samba deer, the tiger was at the back, chasing it. Okay, and in fact, like I bent down to get my equipment. Okay, and this is the actual scene from where like I started shooting, this is what was happening. But just before all these things, this is what had happened. Okay, and I missed this shot. So this is my driver, my naturalist whom I have taught photography. I gifted him a Canon 70 camera because he's in the jungle. So I keep, so he gets a chance to shoot basically. This one I missed because exactly 3 seconds. In the timestamp also I've checked. During when this was happening, I was bending down, lifting my equipment. I lost 3 seconds and I missed out this opportunity. Great, great stuff. Of course, he got some 10 of these sequences, climbing on top, bringing down all those. From here, my series starts. Okay, so here again, it was trying to bring it down, the struggle. I have never seen this kind of a hunt. Normally, in 5 seconds, it gets over. But this was a huge, huge male, and this tigress had to feed her 4 cubs, actually. So she was going behind bigger prey. Okay, so try to bring her down. That whole fight actually lasted for those 15 minutes. And I had to make sure, check the settings, everything, and capture every single moment of that. So, I mean, this, in fact, BBC were there trying to shoot this for 1.5 years. They have not even got anywhere close to these things. It's just we got lucky. In that small duration, I decided to say, like, let's go back and try it. That is where we are able to get all this. But this whole fight didn't get over. The cubs came in. The cubs were trying to pull down the somebody. The instinct is there. The instinct is there in the cubs. Okay, trying to pull it down, didn't work. And then almost at one point, the mother, the Rajbira female, she was able to actually bring down the samba deer. Okay, even from back. In fact, one of the cubs, it got a kick from the samba deer, it ran away. Okay, evening, in fact, she came back to get the cub back. Evening, we again saw it. So then finally, the mother went and pulled the leg down, and then it went down. Okay, and then one of the cubs, in fact, the victory thing, it stood on top. But that was not the end. That samba deer didn't give up. Okay, so it's a sort of like survival of the fittest. Here, it's trying to get up and fight for its life. The mother has to feed her 4 cubs. So the kind of conflict was there, right? We are just mute spectators. We never interfere in nature. So we just keep looking at the things. And then it again got up, kicked the mother, and it ran away again. But by that time, it was completely bleeding. And then it ran away across this whole grassland. But still, the mother, it didn't leave because it had to feed its cubs. Okay, went there, finally got it down. And that was the end of it. The whole thing lasted for 20 minutes. Okay, and these are the things like in wildlife, you have to be really, really fast. So that 0 to 3 seconds, the decision making, all these things, right? And a lot of these things you actually learn real time in nature, in life. Okay, no MBA degree will help you understand these things. Okay? Oh, you guys are MBA, right? Sorry. Okay, so I mean, practically a lot of these things in life we learn. Another classic one, in fact, this one in the break I included the next slide when one of them actually mentioned it as to the importance of 0 to 3 seconds. In last week while I was in Kabini, this is what I got, and this exists in India, a black panther. Okay? And this running shot I was able to get because of that 0 to 3 seconds, where when somebody, the driver shouted, "Sir, black panther," it crossed the road. I knew it was going to come there, lifted my camera, pre-focus was ready, shot. Okay, so overall, again, coming back to life. So I'll leave you with this last slide as to what life is all about. I started this photography, everything seriously, at an age of 42 years. So nothing is ever late in life. So life is not about what you couldn't do so far. It's more about what you still can. Okay, and then it's not about finding yourself, it's about creating yourself. The making versus taking what I told you is about creating your things in life. Okay? All right. Good luck to all of you. Thank you.